The Bachelorette is moving on to week 3, and you know what that means. We got another preview to break down. And here we're going to be looking at who might be going home at the latest rose ceremony cliffhanger, who will be getting next week's one-on-one, a new sleuthing theory that's been going around, when we might see Blake come into the mix, and of course, the new villain that's being pushed so Karl doesn't have to sit alone at lunch. Well, that's if Karl even makes it through next rose ceremony. So, you know the rules. Please no posting any blatant spoilers in the comment section below, but theories, speculation, and sleuthing are encouraged. And I'll leave a link to the full preview in the description.
Her entire world right now is just crumbled.
He single-handedly made her doubt her relationship with each and every one of us.
Alright, so right off the bat, next week is going to start with the rose ceremony that we left off on, where Karl threw the whole night into chaos by telling Katie that he totally thinks someone is there for the wrong reasons. As he smiles, looking into a mirror across the room, knowing it's me, I'm the one not here for the right reasons. Also, apparently his group date bit from last episode was 18 minutes long.
This thing, and I am not kidding, because afterwards I go, I think that went on for 15 minutes, and the producer said 18 and a half.
So the Karl and the cat guy Connor stuff at the beginning of this preview is from the rose ceremony where Karl is the center of attention. But we also get footage not from that night. Here's James, Brendan, and Hunter sitting around, which doesn't really tell us much other than it looks like this is from the night portion of a group date. But the interesting little snippet here was the first shot of the whole preview. Here, Katie hugs Justin and is crying. But is that actually what's going on in the shot?
No.
As you can see, Katie isn't crying here at all. They just put the sound of her crying edited on top of this shot to make it seem more dramatic. This is actually going to be from a group date hosted by Nick Viall in the upcoming episode, which I'll prove later, and is most likely just a simple greeting.
We have to live in this house together, but the house is broken. This is a bad person. I'm done with him. I'm done with him. You're gonna have to trust me on this.
Thomas is some sort of manipulative psychopath.
So it looks like Karl is not the only one in the house who's drawing the ire of the other men. Thomas is now public enemy number 2. And I think there's a very specific reason why this is being set up, at least from an editing perspective. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, first and foremost, I want to point out this shot with former Bachelor Nick saying, "You're going to have to trust me." Nick is absolutely here, like pretty much every Bachelor alumni guest always is, to host a group date. Check out the sweater Katie is wearing right here, then let's double back to this shot from before with Justin. Same sweater, so this is just from a group date. And also notice the dark background. It matches up with this shot of David and Hunter. So while the preview makes things sound dire because they superimposed an audio clip of someone saying the house is broken on top of these shots, this is actually just from a group date. Maybe, with Hunter looking so upset, this group date is about opening up and sharing something vulnerable. We'll see. But it shows us, once again, how misleading these previews can be. In fact, I don't even entirely trust the Thomas villain edit we're now getting. One thing that's important to remember is never trust what gets said in a preview unless you see it come out of someone's mouth. 'Cause look at this clip, Aaron calling Thomas a psychopath.
Thomas is some sort of manipulative psychopath.
Now, did you notice that we never see Aaron actually say the word Thomas in this shot? We hear him say Thomas is some sort of manipulative, then it cuts to him saying psychopath here. That whole first part where we don't see Aaron mouth the words could have easily been edited together. In fact, check out this shot from the very first preview at the start of the Night 1 episode.
He's some sort of manipulative psychopath. If you want,
Aaron says he instead of Thomas. Now, of course, calling Thomas a manipulative psychopath could be what Aaron is actually saying there, and they just wanted to throw on an ominous shot of Thomas to make it more interesting, and then cut in Thomas's name to add specificity. However, it could also be Aaron talking about someone else entirely, but the editors wanted to push a Thomas villain narrative here. But whatever it is, Thomas is being thrown to the wolves in this preview, and usually there's some sort of reason. So I want to come back to this shot.
You say the things exactly as I want to hear them.
I threw out a speculation in the last preview breakdown that I know is a stretch, that this could be Blake here, only because we can match up Katie in this shot here with the same lipstick and outfit on as she heads to this man's door, and the guy looks to be Blake. Now, I've explored the possibility that this isn't Blake, but I can't see this as anyone else. I just can't. I even went down the road of thinking this actually might be Michael, and perhaps Katie was coming to visit him after the group date where it appears as though Michael gets injured, but the hair sticking out like that just screams Blake and I can't get past it. But anyways, back to this shot. And the obvious thought is that with the hair and the outline of the head, it really looks like Thomas. But every time we get a shot of Thomas in a sort of salmon kind of jacket or outfit, things don't line up. Like last week here with Thomas, but this obviously didn't end up being from the same night as the You Say Things I Want to Hear shot. Then in this preview, there's another shot of Thomas in pink, but it's a t-shirt and during the day when we know that this happens at night. But is this still Thomas in spite of all of that, and he's just a dreaded outfit repeater, the kryptonite to my sleuthing practices? Maybe. But if Thomas is getting that villain edit now, the idea that he could be telling Katie only the things she wants to hear makes it more plausible that this is indeed him, for now. But let's continue.
I feel such a strong pull to you.
Have you ever thought, maybe I could end up being the Bachelor?
Yes, that was a thought that was on my mind.
Bring it on.
Alright, so more Thomas stuff. This shot right here looks to me like it's from one-on-one time at the end of a group date. And everything else is, again, more bad editing for Thomas. But let me tell you, when Hunter asks if Thomas has ever thought about being the Bachelor, of course he has. So has every single person in that room, including Hunter. Actually, especially Hunter, because why would you bring it up if it wasn't also something that was on your mind? You're on the Bachelorette. Of course you're thinking you might be the next Bachelor. Who wouldn't? As long as you also come on hoping to find love, I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, wouldn't being the next Bachelor be a great consolation prize if you got your heart broken in the end? It's only the dudes who go on with no actual interest in the lead that really bother me. But you're kidding yourself if you think every person who goes on the show isn't thinking, at the very least, maybe I'll find love, and if I don't, at least I might get a platform out of it. So, moving on.
I'm overwhelmed with what our love can be.
There's a real woman's life that's in the balance.
And here is the one-on-one for the episode with Michael. It's the only one-on-one footage we've gotten with him in all the previews, and they're going to flip an off-road vehicle and then toast to not dying. We've also seen Michael later on in the season, so expect him to get a rose at the end of the date.
It's a bad thing that I did.
It's his word against the entire house.
Oh my God.
I didn't come here for the bromance. I didn't come here for the friendships.
Okay, we have to pause right there. Remember that line we've talked about many times before in the preview breakdowns? The one where Karl says this?
I didn't come here for the bromance. I came here for followers.
I came here for followers, huh? Well, as we noted before, this seemed really edited. And here, we just got a new version of that sentence that makes a little more sense.
I didn't come here for the bromance. I didn't come here for the friendships.
I didn't come here for the bromance, I didn't come here for the friendships. That sounds a lot more like a real thing Karl would say. We also get Katie and Michael at the end of their one-on-one date, smoochin', so again, he's going to be getting that rose. And also, we have cat guy Connor saying it's a bad thing that I did, but we don't see him actually say the full sentence. We are, however, seeing him on that group date with the dark background, so maybe he does share something and he's unsure of how Katie will respond.
When is enough enough?
If you want to come at me, come at me. I don't give a
I don't even know what happens next.
I don't know.
Mic drop. Boom.
And that is the end of the preview. Mic drop, boom. But I got a real mic drop for you, Karl. You're going home. So, let's talk eliminations for next rose ceremony, then we'll get into a bit of sleuthing that's made the rounds online the last 2 days, and finally, we're gonna talk about when we might see Blake. Now, before I get into Karl, we can do a little bit of process of elimination sleuthing when it comes to who might be going home next rose ceremony. All we have to do is head into some of the group date shots from the previews, like this one. Apart from Andrew S. and Greg, who we know will be going far, we can see that Christian, Connor C., the other Connor, Josh, Trey, Andrew M., and Mike are all going to be safe for the next rose ceremony. Brendan we've also seen in various other shots, David we know is on a group date next episode, James we've seen, Hunter we've seen, Courtney is here on the sports date, Thomas obviously goes through, Justin's all over the previews, but there are 4 men, however, who are gone. Vacant. So these are the men who are going to be going home this upcoming rose ceremony. Number 1, Garrett, I don't see him anywhere. Number 2, Kyle, he's absent as well. Number 3, John, who does have one shot of him that we haven't seen before, but sadly, it's this shot. John crying, and he's wearing the same outfit he was in during the rose ceremony at the end of the last episode, meaning that this shot is almost surely from after he's sent home. Then lastly, number 4, Karl, who just like the other 3 is not in any more footage. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. We do see him punching the air as if it wasn't there for the right reasons, but in this shot he's in his same pants and button-up shirt from the rose ceremony where we left off last episode. Also, we can see that his suit jacket is on the couch right here. Now there is, however, one single shot of Karl from the previews that we have yet to see. This.
You need to get the out of my way.
So does this mean he's staying on for one more episode? Actually, no. My speculation is that this shot is actually from the morning when the very first group date card was handed out. Karl here is wearing the same white shirt, but here he has a zip-up on as well. My theory is that in this shot, he just took off his jacket, same as what he did in this shot. Meaning, as far as I see it, Karl is on the chopping block. Which to me makes sense. We've seen that Katie doesn't waste any time with guys who are causing drama, as she sent Cody home real quick last episode. She's also even said that she doesn't really trust Karl.
I want to trust Karl, but I really don't know him well. I don't know his intentions.
Also, if Karl goes home, it would make sense as to why Thomas is getting such a huge villain push all of a sudden. We see it time and time again that when one villain goes on this show, another must fill its void. Perhaps Thomas is getting that push by production after Karl is gone. Now, Katie has also said that a shocking first happens this upcoming rose ceremony, and it shouldn't be rushed. I have no clue as to what that could be, and I'm always weary when that gets said on the show because I've been let down before. Also, I have to mention this post that's been making its way around the interwebs, where someone spotted Katie wearing a bracelet on the group date, and it looks like maybe it's actually Greg's from their one-on-one. Is this a coincidence? Or is it a little wink to Greg that she's thinking of him when she's out with the other guys? Not like we needed any more reason to believe that Greg is going to be in the endgame here. Oh, and before we go, a question that's been rolling around a lot is, when are we going to see Blake? My guess is episode 4. I imagine that the producers are going to want to do a preview reintroducing him and showing us how much the guys are going to freak out when he arrives. And they'll want to do that at the end of the episode the week before he actually arrives, to set us up and to hook us into watching the following week. And 4 feels like a good number because episode 4 was also when Michelle arrived during Matt's season. But we'll see. As for my final pick predictions, they're mostly still the same, but I do have one theory that's kind of become my obsession over these past few days. Something that's not my original theory, but I've been thinking about it a lot. A theory that involves Greg, and a theory that I'll be talking about in a bonus video later this week. So that's it for this preview breakdown for week 3. Hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to give the video a like and subscribe for more. Again, I'll have a bonus video for you later this week, so keep your eyes peeled for that, and until next time, Bachelor Fantake, out.
Mic drop. Boom.